Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov chaired a meeting of the United Nations Security Council on Monday, which meant the representative of a country accused of violating the UN Charter and brutally invading its neighbor was given a platform to warn that the values of the world body were under threat.
As during the Cold War, we have reached the dangerous, possibly even more dangerous, threshold.
Russia is a permanent member of the Security Council, which has a rotating monthly presidency. Before Lavrov's remarks, Secretary-General Antonio Guterres stated plainly that Moscow's invasion ran contrary to the United Nations mission.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine, in violation of the United Nations Charter and international law, is causing massive suffering and devastation to the country and its people, and adding to the global economic dislocation triggered by the COVID-19 pandemic.
And the U.S. envoy, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, went further.
Our hypocritical convener today, Russia, invaded its neighbor, Ukraine, and struck at the heart of the UN Charter.
Thomas-Greenfield also accused Russia of violating international law by wrongfully detaining Americans, calling for the release of Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and ex-Marine Paul Whelan. Whelan's sister, Elizabeth, was in the chamber on Monday.
And I want Minister Lavrov to look into her eyes and see her suffering. I want you to see what it's like to miss your brother for 4 years. I'm calling on you right now to release Paul Whelan, Evan Gershkovich immediately, to let Paul and Evan come home, and to cease this barbaric practice once and for all.
Before the meeting, Elizabeth Whelan accused Russia of arbitrarily detaining Americans as bargaining chips with the U.S.
This is not the work of a mature and responsible nation. It is the action of a terrorist state.
In addition to the U.S., a string of Security Council members, including France and Britain, condemned Russia for its war on Ukraine. But Moscow was not without allies in the room. China, which has a no-limits partnership with Russia, welcomed Lavrov as chair of the meeting and sided with Russia in condemning Western sanctions.
Unilateral sanctions that violate international law must be resisted.
The United Nations is working to save an agreement that allows the safe export of Ukraine's grain from Black Sea ports that could expire on May 18th.
Donald Trump is expected to go on trial Tuesday in a civil lawsuit brought by the writer E. Jean Carroll, who has accused the former U.S. president of raping her in a department store dressing room in the mid-1990s. Carroll is also accusing Trump of defamation. Trump has denied raping the former Elle magazine advice columnist, calling her claim a hoax in a social media post last October. He also declared she was, quote, not my type.
There's certainly a lot at stake.
Business and entertainment attorney Tre Lovell says that in a trial like this, jurors have to decide whether Carroll is credible. And Carroll's lawyers will likely try to introduce testimony from other women who will claim non-consensual contact with Trump in an effort to convince jurors the defendant has a pattern of this alleged behavior.
And so that can be compelling testimony. You know, if a jury believes, hey, he keeps doing it, he's done it before, why it's not unbelievable he wouldn't do it now. So that's probably the best testimony she has, and it's just going to depend when she gets on the stand and how she testifies. If they believe her, because if there's any doubt at all, this credibility is everything on this, because it's really a he said, she said.
Trump has denied multiple allegations of misconduct from different women. In 2016, audio emerged of the former reality TV star bragging about grabbing women's genitals. Trump apologized for the comments, which he said was just locker room talk. Carroll has said Trump approached her for help buying a gift for another woman at Bergdorf Goodman in late 1995 or early 1996. She said he maneuvered her into a dressing room, forced her against a wall, and raped her before she was able to break free. Trump has repeatedly attacked Carroll since she first publicly accused him of rape in 2019, including by claiming she is mentally ill. Trump is not required to attend the trial, and his lawyers have said he may not appear, citing security concerns and traffic delays. If Trump testified, he would likely face an aggressive cross-examination.
It's a civil case, so it's not a criminal proceeding, so he doesn't have to worry about jail time or anything like that. But it can be serious civil ramifications. We're talking about money here, and it could be a significant amount of money if it wins and he's found not only to have defamed her, but also to have committed the battery that's alleged.
The trial comes amid a slew of lawsuits and investigations targeting Trump, the current Republican frontrunner for the 2024 presidential election.
I'm Elizabeth Whelan, the sister of Paul Whelan, who has been wrongfully detained in Russia since December 2018. When on a visit to Moscow, Paul Whelan was set up by the Russian security services, the FSB, and arrested on false charges of espionage. He was held for a year and a half at Lavrov prison, where journalist Evan Gershkovich is currently being held on the same charges. This Russian playbook is so lazy that even Evan has the same investigator, a man who harassed and interrogated my brother until Paul's sham trial in June of 2020, when Paul was given a horrific sentence of 16 years for a crime he did not commit. Now Paul is being held in labor camp IK-17 in the remote province of Mordovia, held as a pawn and victim of Russia's descent into lawlessness. Paul has not committed a crime, but a crime has been committed against him. Russia's less than sophisticated take on diplomacy is to arbitrarily detain American citizens in order to extract concessions from the United States. This is not the work of a mature and responsible nation. It is the action of a terrorist state.
CNN has fired longtime host Don Lemon, the news anchor said in a post on Twitter on Monday, adding that he was stunned by the network's decision to let him go. Lemon had been with CNN for 17 years, most recently as a co-host of the network's This Morning program. He faced a backlash earlier this year for comments he made about Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley not being, quote, in her prime. Lemon made the sexist remark during a live discussion about Haley's proposal that people over the age of 75 who wish to serve in the White House should prove mental competence. He said that a woman's prime is in her 20s, 30s, or maybe her 40s. He later apologized. Tim Grueling, a communications professor at the University of California, says the incident appears to be a trigger for Lemon's dismissal.
This Nikki Haley thing, I think, really alienated him with the core CNN audience, where he implied that just because she was older, she was over the hill. I mean, that's cable news viewers are a little bit over the hill, the same demographic. So I think that's, you don't typically do well insulting the management of your company and your most large demographic of viewers.
In a statement of its own, CNN said the network and Lemon had parted ways without giving a reason. It added that Lemon was offered a chance to meet with the network's management, but that he instead released a statement on his personal Twitter account.
It's the end of an era at Fox News. The company and top-rated host Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways. In a statement Monday, Fox said, quote, "We thank him for his service to the network as a host and prior to that as a contributor," end quote. The move comes less than a week after the cable TV giant and its parent Fox Corp settled a defamation lawsuit by Dominion Voting Systems for $787.5 million. Dominion alleged that Carlson allowed debunked election fraud claims about the 2020 election involving the voting technology firm to air on his show, while casting doubts on the plausibility of those claims in private messages that emerged in legal filings. Here's University of California, Los Angeles Communications Studies professor Tim Groeling.
I think that the Dominion trial has damaged Fox's brand by making it clear that he was saying things he didn't believe, that he was saying one thing and believing another. And I think that is, damaging for that relationship. but it also means the people who trust him might go with him.
Carlson's next move and the reason for his departure are unclear. He is also key to additional legal battles facing Fox, including a lawsuit filed by his former head of booking, Abby Grossberg, who said Fox coerced her testimony in the Dominion case. Grossberg last month accused network lawyers of pressuring her to provide misleading testimony and said Fox exposed her and others to rampant sexism and misogyny. Fox fired Grossberg, saying her legal claims were riddled with false allegations against Fox and its employees. Carlson's Tucker Carlson Tonight Show has been the highest-rated regularly scheduled cable program in the key 25 to 54 age demographic, with total viewers topping 3 million nightly. After the announcement of Carlson's departure from Fox News, a Trump spokesperson tweeted, "Fox News is controlled opposition." Trump gave an interview to Carlson earlier this month that aired on Fox. Shares of Fox fell 3% on Monday.